Welcome to Tinkering 2. Today, what I want to talk about is how to use a focus reducer in an anamorphic setup as a focusing solution to solve or to sometimes resolve a bit of misalignment and focus with some lenses, to resolve a bit of problems that may occur due to sometimes you need to use some tapes on the back of the flange of your setup to reduce jittering in the system. So there are many reasons why you would want to have the possibility of have a back focusing adjustment in your system. But this is definitely something that is not easily or standard for normal lenses. Just for very professional lenses, you find such kind of feature. But what I want to show to you guys today with this anamorphic setup here is that you can actually use a focus reducer as a back focusing solution for your system. So in this case, you'll be able to, for example, if you need to put some tapes on the flange of your system to make it very sturdy, and if in that case you miss the infinity focus point on your taking lenses, or if you are using some adapted projector lenses that does not have, any focusing helicoid built in, you can actually do some estimations or some rough measurements, or you can attach it as close as possible to the infinity focus using, for example, a 3D printed part, and you can rely on the back focus adjustment of a focusing reducer if you want to narrow down the very precise, infinity focus point of your system. So there are many reasons why this might be a very useful, resources on the arsenal for anyone who's building some DIY anamorphic setups. So what I want to do here is just to demonstrate what I'm talking here. I'll start recording with this camera, just for sake of showing you guys how you can twinkle the focus point of the lenses by adjusting the rear focus on the focusing reducer element. So in order for this technique to work, of course, you have to commit to include a focusing reducer on your system. If you are not committing to that, if you just put in some spacers or some other sort of adapters to make the final connection between the spherical lenses and your camera, well, then this technique will not fit you, will not serve you any good. But in many cases, you'll be very good off just putting a focusing reducer in a micro four thirds system, for example, just because the lenses is producing a much bigger image circle, and by committing to put a focusing reducer, you'll be making that circle narrow, smaller, and you'll be increasing the amount of light that the sensor is capturing. Of course, you're putting some extra glass on your system, so that's the drawback. That's a commitment that you have to decide if it's good or not. So I have focused the lenses to the camera, and now, without touching the focusing wheel, I'll not stop the recording, I'll leave it like that. Oops, I just don't want to misalign it. I will remove it carefully. So the idea is not to touch. And anyway, on the focusing adjustment, I have done a very small, pencil mark here on the. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. In the here part of the focusing reducer, there is a small block, a glass block element here. You can screw this element forward or inward, and that will affect the focus. It is just tied down just by pressure. There's no screw or anything that prevents this element to move, but it stays put if you don't use any force. But you can use in a glove, so just turn it like that, so it's turning in that direction. All right, I turned as far as I could. Let's see what happens. I'll reinsert the lenses here. Very carefully not to touch the. I restart recording. This is the image after turning the I'll just leave it there for some seconds so that you can compare the image. So that's good enough. Let me check. So I put it again, and I'm just recording a final image just to show how the focus has shifted. So this is what I had for you guys for you guys today. I hope this is useful. This has been very useful for me in certain situations. It's kind of a hidden trick, you can say something like that. It's just in there in the here. It's just the here block of the focus reducer, and it can be very useful, particularly if you buy the focus reducer with M42 screw mount. So that makes very easy for example, for you to mount it with a 3D part, printed part, to some projector lenses, and then you have a killer combination for setting the focus to the infinity with no problem whatsoever. Thank you very much. Have a nice one.